Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our midweek edition of Two Guys and a Mic. I'm one of your hosts, Ron Pierce, better known as RP.
And I'm your other host, Big Sean. What's going on, everybody?
What's happening, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
I mean, I think I'm good. I'm I still
You
have,
breathing?
even though it's Thursday, I still have a frustration hangover from Monday.
Okay.
I'm not totally, completely over that game, but I understand the show must go on, so we
Yeah.
have to keep it pushing. We have to keep it moving.
Yeah,
So
man. I'm over the loss. I'm ready for the Giants. I'm ready to go ahead and if we go ahead and take care of business, we're in good shape still. So
for sure,
uh, I think we need to go ahead and handle them, and we'll be all right.
yeah, I agree. So let's jump right into it then. So this week, as Sean has already pointed out, the Browns will be traveling to New Jersey to the Meadowlands. I know they don't call it the Meadowlands anymore,
What is the
but
MetLife Stadium?
it's called MetLife Stadium, but it's the Meadowlands. It's the same. They did the same thing we did. They tore down the stadium and built one right in the same exact spot and
In the
tried to
swamp.
name it something else. It's right there in the swamp of New Jersey, right across the river from downtown, or excuse me, Midtown Manhattan. So cut it out. It's the Meadowlands. So the Browns are traveling to the Meadowlands. Hell, they may as well stay there for the week once the game is over.
Right.
Because they got a game against the Jets next week, so they may as well stay there. But they're playing against the second place NFC East team, the New York Football Giants, who are
We're
5-8,
5-8.
and they are on the bubble as we speak in terms of how their playoff future looks. It looks a little more bleak than ours does. Because they're on a bubble as we speak right now. The Browns are in control of their own destiny, and that's a good place to be.
Right. The Giants have to win their division to go to the playoffs because of that raggedy record. They're not going to make a wild card. So,
The whole
and they're
division.
tied. I mean, record-wise, they're tied with the Washington football team, right? I think the Washington football
No,
team.
no. Washington has 6 wins.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, and I'll tell you what, if I had to pick who I wanted to play this week, I'd pick the Giants versus.
Yeah, because Washington's been playing pretty well, like just scrappy. They don't do anything, fancy, but they just play hard, and it kind of reflection of their coach.
Yeah,
You can see that in Ron Rivera, just scrap it
yeah,
out.
they get after it. Them cats get after, especially defensively. I think they've
Right.
kind of found an identity, or at least an early parts of an identity with
Right.
their defense. So especially their defensive front with Chase and those
Right. One
guys.
thing that may hurt them though, Alex Smith left that game last week.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure. He has a calf injury, so I'm not sure if he's
that ain't no
coming back.
regular calf.
Huh?
I said that ain't a regular calf.
No, not at all. Like as much leg problems as that guy's had injury wise.
Yeah,
So that'll be huge if he doesn't play. I'm not sure who they play this week, but Alex Smith is a lot more steadier than Dwayne Haskins at this time. So
oh for sure.
all right,
But
so let's get into the Browns and the Giants matchup.
yeah, as we
Browns
get into
coming in
that,
at 9-4. It's a must win for the Browns at the Giants 5-8. Giants have been playing pretty well as of late. They having some quarterback issues, so we're not 100% sure which quarterback is coming in. Daniel Jones has been hurt, so it'll either be Daniel Jones or Colt McCoy, and I don't think that the Giants have declared a starter as of yet.
not as of yet. Daniel Jones he probably shouldn't have started last week, to be all the way honest. But I'll give a kid some kudos for trying to play through an injury. You know, a lot of times we give people grief for not showing up during injuries. And, you know, and then we call people goofy for playing through one.
Right.
So it's like a slippery slope. But you know what? He could have easily sat out with a hamstring, and he tried to come in and help his team win, and it just didn't do well. And then he ended up with another injury because of it. He also has a sprain, or a high ankle sprain, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, does it?
But
Okay.
but they haven't designated a starter for Sunday. But it's Thursday. They generally don't do that until Friday evening anyway. If there's going to be a change, you know how the NFL is. They try to play chess all the damn time.
Right.
So they don't want us to know early enough to set a full game plan. So we ain't gonna find out probably for sure until tomorrow afternoon ish, when the Browns are on a plane on their way to New York or New Jersey rather. You know, that's how they're probably planning to do that. But going into the game last week that Jones did play in, Daniel Jones. Let me say this about Daniel Jones, and I don't know how you feel about him, but I remember when he was drafted, not this year, last year. I thought it was the goofiest pick of that at that time. I thought it was goofy. I thought they could have gone another way. He's shown me some things. He still hasn't shown me that was the pick. He's way faster than I thought he was. He can actually throw at times when I've seen him really throw. He's not an awful quarterback. I'm just not sure that that's the guy at that time.
Yeah, and I feel the exact same way. He's shown flashes. I think that when he had that little run last year, I hate when the media anoints a guy already, giving him a nickname, calling him Danny Dimes and all that carrying on. I was like, just wait till the kid to get some film on him, you know, and see how he does after that. Now now once they've gotten film, you've seen him, you know, regress a little bit, but he, like I said, he's still shown flashes of being a good quarterback. And like you said, he does make a lot of plays with his feet. So yeah, the book is out. And plus, being under Pat Shurmur, you know, that's the worst coach you can possibly come in under as a rookie. And I don't know too much about Joe Judge, this guy, at all. He does seem to have them playing hard, but
we'll see. About Pat Shurmur. Still out. Look, we do know a lot about Pat Shurmur, and so we can actually talk. You know, as you just pointed out, we can actually have some insight on a Pat Shurmur run or led team, and we've seen it firsthand. It's not always a good look for whatever football team that is, and Pat Shurmur was a lot of that. Pat Shurmur was actually, I couldn't believe he had gotten rehired to be anybody's head coach. I think he's a decent coordinator, but to be a head coach,
yeah, that's just a good old boy network in the NFL.
That's
they probably said, "Hey, you were in Cleveland. You were in a bad organization. They didn't give you what you needed, and we're gonna give you another shot."
So here, you were in a bad situation. So here, come to this bad situation, and you should be okay. Get out of here, man.
Now, historically, the Giants have been a pretty good franchise. Just lately,
not when he took over. When he took over, they were a mess. When he took over,
right.
And that's what I mean. You think that all of a sudden, because the Giants have been good, but they've been a mess for the last 2 or 3 years, that Pat Shurmur is going to be the stabilizing factor? Right. That's what you think? Come on, man. Where did he show that that's who he was?
Right. Now, Bob McAdoo was a bad hire, and Shurmur was a bad hire. Now this Joe Judge character.
That may have helped. The McAdoo hire may have helped spiral them further out of control. You know, that may have helped them. They were kind of had frayed pieces and parts, but McAdoo took these guys completely out of it's like a satellite skipping off the atmosphere, bro. It's like McAdoo just sent these cats into a whole nother stratosphere in terms of being a bad organization. He was awful in terms of how to run a team, and he lost. I mean, this dude lost his players so early. How do you lose your players before the season starts? He was
Right.
already losing guys, and then you end one of the longest quarterback streaks in the history of the NFL just because.
Just because, right. And then on top of that, you didn't even bring in the rookie. I forgot who that rookie was at that time to see what he could do. You brought in Geno Smith, who you knew what Geno Smith was.
Geno Smith. You basically were saying to Eli, I don't like you, and you can kiss my ass.
Pretty much
And
gave him a middle finger.
And that's how it came across, whether that's what he intended or not. That's exactly how it came across. So,
right. And speaking of Eli, let me ask you one question real quick. Do you think Eli's a Hall of Famer? Because everybody's pointing to the two Super Bowls, but I can point to other quarterbacks that's won Super Bowls.
Do I think he is? Do I think he is, or do I think he will be?
Do you think he will be?
I think he will be.
But you don't think he is?
I don't. He's a bubble guy for me.
I agree with that too. Now, what everybody's pointing to is to his 2 Super Bowl rings. But I think there are 2 other quarterbacks that have won 2 Super Bowls who are not in the Hall of Fame, not even be considered. One is Jim Plunkett with the Oakland Raiders.
Okay.
And who was the other one? There's another one, man. It's on the tip of my tongue. Phil Simms won one, and then
he won one, and then
Hostetler won the other one. Oh, it's another one out there. I'm gonna have to look that up when I get a chance. But I don't think that just because he won 2 Super Bowls, shit.
Listen,
you have to put those. You have to put those in perspective. You know, like the overall body of work.
Yeah, I agree, and I'll say this: I think winning Super Bowls is like using sage or rosemary in a recipe. It's something that could change how this tastes, but it's gonna taste good anyway. So
right,
having these 2 things didn't make that not a prime rib, or it didn't make it not a fillet. You understand what I'm saying? This just enhanced the fillet. So winning 2 Super Bowls really should only enhance your career. It shouldn't be the deciding factor.
You know what? And also, I don't think not winning a Super Bowl should keep a quarterback out of the Hall of Fame.
I mean, hell, Dan Marino's in, but Dan Marino was incredible.
But you know what?
I agree absolutely 100%.
But back then, it wasn't. Now everything, all this GOAT talk, who's the GOAT, that we weren't having those conversations back then. But now, when you're trying to measure one guy against another one, the first thing they're gonna bring up how many rings they got.
Well, that's funny that they do that. It's funny that they do that in football, but they don't want to do that in basketball.
Right. But I'm gonna give you an example. Like, I believe Donovan McNabb is a Hall of Famer.
I think so.
He won't get any consideration at all. Probably because the way his career ended.
He's on the other side of the bubble, like, to me. So, like, if this is the bubble, those middle ground guys, with the Eli's and you say like a Mark Brunell and all those guys who had really good careers. I'm not saying that these guys didn't have good careers, but they're like right at that. Do you get in? Do you not? Do you get in? I think Donovan is on the upper side of that bubble.
Yeah, because what's not fair, man, is that I hear people talking about Phillip Rivers as a possible Hall of Famer. And I'm like, well, if you're going to do that with Phillip Rivers, him and McNabb, their careers kind of mirrored.
Yeah,
when you get you make a playoff run but couldn't get over the hump.
You can't consider him because D-Mac did something that Phillip has never done. He's gotten to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he went, and people don't know too. McNabb went to 5 straight NFC,
and he went to 5 straight.
5 straight.
And he went to 5 straight, and he also didn't always have.
He did
the team that went to the Super Bowl. was probably as good a team as he had that whole time in terms of being healthy, in terms of
Yeah,
being
the
well coached
TO
and stuff
year.
like that.
Yeah,
And they still had a guy on the field who had a broken leg. Terrell Owens had a broke leg, ankle or whatever
yeah.
during that game. So no, that wasn't their best defense during that particular Super Bowl. I think they had a better defense maybe 2 or 3 years earlier.
You're right.
Um,
I agree.
but
But yeah, man,
anyway,
we got off topic as we
we done
always do.
deviated like we always do.
All right,
But
so
your guy Daniel Jones. So last week the Giants played the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a pretty decent defense. They actually have a decent enough offense. And what I saw last week in terms of the numbers, Jones their quarterbacks get hit a lot. So last week's game, they got hit. Their quarterbacks between him and Colt McCoy, they got hit 11 times, and they also got 6 sacks. So that's 17 hits on your quarterback. So, like to me, to steal a phrase from one of the homies, to me, defensively, that sounds like barbecue chicken.
okay.
For whoever is in the taking snaps for the Giants, it feels like for us barbecue chicken because he got hit. I think he got hit 8 times the week before, sacked 4 times. Daniel Jones did. That's when he ended up getting the hamstring injury. So the offensive line, I don't know if it's compromised. I don't know if it's any good. I be honest, I haven't watched any Giants games, but in general, your quarterback doesn't get hit a lot unless one or two things is a problem. Either you hold on to the ball too long, or you got a bad offensive line.
Right.
So that's usually why that happens. They've also lost. Last week they had 5 fumbles and lost 3, and they're like 25th in the league in terms of lost fumbles.
Yeah, I saw that. Their giveaway takeaway ratio is actually at a 0.
Yeah.
Where the Browns are at a +6, like we're 5th in the league, and they would have 10 fumbles and 10 interceptions.
Yeah.
As far as giveaways.
They
So
turn the ball
yeah,
over
they
a
do
lot,
turn the ball over.
or they give you turnover opportunities a lot.
Right.
So the chances again are there for us to make waves in the turnover area, which something that we did not do last week. We did not get any turnovers.
I don't think we even came close to getting a turnover
No, we
last week.
didn't even come close. Like I can't remember a time where even like a possible tip ball. There wasn't many tip balls that went like up in the air and you almost had a chance. We damn sure didn't have anybody in coverage enough to make a pick or whatever. So, this week you have those opportunities. Those chances are there. Wayne Gallman, their running back, he had a good game last week against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have actually a decent run defense.
Yeah, Gallman's a decent back, man. He's not going to set the world on fire, but you have to account for him on the field.
But you got to
he's
account
averaging
for him.
almost 5 yards a carry. So,
and that's it. And that's why I bring him up because what we gave up last week. We gave up like almost 7.5 yards a carry. What was it? 7, almost 7, and 5 touchdowns. So running wise, we still have to keep our lanes, keep containment, and play smart.
And also, if Daniel Jones is healthy,
for sure.
You got to, he's their second leading rusher.
Yeah.
So you got to keep him under containment too. So, and that kind of, I'm gonna throw out just one of my keys right now since you brought up the Giants' offense. Like our defense this time, Joe Woods has to come up with some type of scheme where you can, you got a young quarterback in Daniel Jones, or you're going to have a journeyman in Colt McCoy. Neither one of them really can light you up where they shouldn't. They're both flawed quarterbacks. So yeah, I think we need to bring some type of exotic looks, maybe bring a little bit more pressure, up the middle to kind of throw them off a little bit. Because the one thing the Giants do have too, they have a pretty decent receiving core as well. So I think you want to get in there and disrupt their timing. You don't want them getting any type of rhythm at all. Like you said, if the Cardinals were hitting their quarterbacks like that, then we need to do the same thing. And then when you do that and put that pressure on them, force them to make a quick decision, and that should maybe lead to, a couple of turnovers. Don't let them sit back there in that pocket and scan the field, that raggedy secondary that we have right now, and pick us apart. You don't want to do that. They're still NFL quarterback, even though they're middle of the road quarterbacks. They're still NFL quarterbacks. So I want to see Joe Woods this week. I want to see him bring some different looks. I think against Baltimore, we were a little bit vanilla.
So Joe Woods? Is Joe Woods your key, or is it the defense in general?
Joe Woods is scheme. Like, okay. I want to see. Okay. I want to see pressure.
I wanted to be sure. Yeah. I didn't. I wanted to be 100% sure what we was talking about.
Right. That's all. Yeah. I want to see.
Okay.
I want to see different looks. I know we don't have the personnel to do everything he wants to do, but damn it, this is a must-win game.
Got to have it.
No time to be trying to hold back.
If you want to keep, if we want to keep the destiny in our hands, we need to win this game and let everybody else do whatever they're going to do in their games. Right. But the more we win, the more that destiny continues to be right in our hands. So I thoroughly agree. I just wanted to be sure what you were saying, right, so that I could, because I got a few things to say about that as well. Now there is an interesting caveat that's happening. First of all, let me say that today, in case anybody doesn't know, today Denzel Ward actually practiced. He said he felt good. He said he was able to run at full speed. So there's a really good chance, again, we won't find out until, again, they're going to do the same shit with Denzel that the Giants are going to do with their quarterback. They're going to wait to the last minute to let that report out, probably that he can play. And let's be honest, our defense is better with Denzel Ward on it. I just need this dude to be healthy.
What about Ronnie Harrison? Did they say anything about him?
I didn't see or hear anything about Harrison.
So he's probably still out. But you're right about Denzel, man, because that's one side of the field you don't have to worry about. And you can play a little bit more man coverage when you have Denzel out there. So that's huge. And let's just hope he can stay on the field for the rest of the season.
Especially for these next 3 games that we have. I don't care if we playing against 3 of the worst teams in the league. I want us to be at our best so that we can play at our best.
Right.
So Denzel, it was great to see him out there. The other caveat is, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I know most of us couldn't care less, but it's an interesting topic. So Jason Garrett, one of the worst, well, I shouldn't say one of the worst, but definitely one of the most mediocre coaches that has ever coached in the NFL, is in New York as the offensive coordinator, and he has come down with COVID-19. So he won't be at the game, and he won't be calling plays. He won't be orchestrating the offense, but there's somebody who we know who will. We've seen this act for about 1.5 years here in the great city of Cleveland. And we pretty much ran this guy out of town. For those of you who don't know who I'm talking about Freddie Kitchens. He's going to basically be, he's the Giants tight ends coach. He's going to be calling plays as the offensive coordinator going into Sunday. So Why am I saying this? Because I'm really not like super worried about Freddie Kitchens. There's two reasons why I'm saying this. One, when Freddie was at his best, he had somebody else's playbook in his back pocket. And number two, I know Freddie has a bone that he's trying to pick with the Browns. So that would lead me into one of my keys for the game, which is the defense. So I don't know what Joe Woods, what his scheme is or what his attitude is going to be going, into this game. But he has to push this ideology that, hey, man, we cannot have what happened last week happen ever again.
Right.
I don't care who is in uniform. I don't care who's hurt. I don't care what we do against the run. Because to be honest with you, we ain't gave up those kind of run yards all year long, as bad as our offense has been. You gave up 238 yards, 120 something to the damn quarterback that you couldn't contain because all your blitzes went up the middle and to one side. You never just came, all the way around. So you have to change your approach, and you can do that, especially with weeks of practice. I know that may not be the scheme, and I'm gonna speak on this too in a minute. So defensively, we have to be prepared for the potential that this dude is pulling out all stops to make us look bad, to ruin our potential of winning or going to the playoffs. The year after this dude was the coach, there's one person on this earth that isn't in a Pittsburgh jersey, and I don't necessarily mean a player, it could be a fan too. That's not in a Ravens jersey, again, the same thing. That's not in a Cincinnati jersey. There's one person on this earth that does not want to see the Browns succeed. And he will have on a headset and be calling plays against us on Sunday because it's personal for him. So we cannot allow that to happen. And we have to, whatever our game plan is, we need to be able to adjust to what's happening in the actual game. You got to be
hopefully
for that.
Freddie will be Freddie and try to do way too much. That's kind of what I'm banking on.
That's what I'm banking on. Honestly, I'm banking on him doing too much. I'm banking on him trying too hard. I'm banking on him saying something goofy like, well, if you're not in blue and white and red and silver, then we don't care what you think. I'm waiting on him to say some country bumpkin nonsense like that on Sunday. However, if this dude gets the opportunity to say that I destroyed their opportunity to go to the playoffs, it ain't nobody who woke up with a bigger heart on than that dude today.
Yep.
It ain't nobody who woke up with a bigger heart on. So the defense has to be ready on Sunday evening to play football. I don't care who's hurt. I don't care who is not feeling good. I don't care about none of that stuff. If you on the field, you got to put it out there. Now, we also have the other side of that coin. I think this is Olivier's. It's the second time back in the stadium because he played. Oh, he was hurt last year when they went against the Jets.
Against the Jets, yeah.
But this is his first time playing in that stadium since he's been here, and it's his first time playing against the Giants, the team that he used to play for, and where he probably had. I know he had good success in Miami, but I think he had his most consistent success in New York. So it'll be hopefully this will be a day that he feels like he needs to show up and show out a little bit again, like he did last week. He played really good last week. I hope Miles is whatever was going on last week. I know he got held a lot on Monday, but I hope he's ready to play some ball come Sunday night. So that was the defense. That's why I asked you, what were you saying specifically? I think we're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, we are.
I
pretty
think we're
much.
saying the exact same thing.
It all comes down to scheme. That still comes down to the players executing that scheme, whatever he puts in. So most definitely, man. I think that as far as just matching up, I think we match up well with the Giants. As far as personnel wise, I think we, on paper, I think we're fine. And I think it's a game that we should definitely win.
It's a game
But
we can win, and it's a game we should win. You're correct.
yeah, but with the Giants have something to play for too, and the Freddie Kitchens factor and stuff like that.
And they're
It's
only
going
a
to be a
game
tough
back.
game.
They're only a game back. So a loss here could really hinder everything that they want to do. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Real quick.
Derek Carr just pulled up lane. He pulled the
Yeah. They taking him into the inner bowels of Allegiant Stadium.
Death
Now.
Star.
I think I might be a little bit ahead of you, but yeah, he pulled up a little lame, so ain't no telling. Could be a hamstring.
He's not walking well at all.
Could be a hamstring. Could be a. I don't always want to talk about what the other worst stuff could be, but it did kind of look more like a hamstring.
Right.
We'll see. Anyway, so what are your? I'm gonna let you go with your other keys if that wasn't your only key. What are your other keys?
Yeah, no. The only other key I have, it's simple. Like on the offensive side of the ball, I just think we need to get back to basics a little bit, get back to the running game. More of a ball control type offense. Now, because I think in the last 2 weeks, Chubb has carried the ball 17 and 19 times, respectively. So Chubb should be fresh, and Hunt. And I think, to keep that defense off the field, we got to protect them a little bit. Let's get back to running the football and working the play action off of that. Because one thing we have now, before, when Baker was struggling a little bit, we didn't know if our passing game, was ever going to come around. We've established that the last 3 games.
Yep.
So now that element is there. So now, once you get that running game rolling again, and you start coming up with play action with that, you can really do some damage now, man. Like right now, the way that our offense is rolling, and it's coming together at the right time, we can do some damage. RP, we can do some serious damage. Because here's the other caveat: we still have not utilized all the weapons that we have on this football team.
No, hell no.
Like we still haven't really utilized our
not
tight
even
ends.
close. We haven't even come close.
And you see Stefanski starting to implement a few more things into the playbook now that he wasn't using earlier. Now, the one thing I need him to stop doing, okay, now if you run that Jarvis Landry pass about 15 times this season, kind of calm down with a trick plays, because eventually one of those trick plays are going to implode on you. We've been lucky this year. I think all our trick plays, they may not have gone for big yardage, but the only one that didn't work was that fake punt. Right, that fake punt we ran the first game of the season. That's the only one that didn't work. Everything else has worked, and we're due for an implosion on a trick play. So let's just go out there and just play head up, man. Let's go play some football. What was my other key on offense here? Yeah, that was pretty much it. I just wrote down, getting back to basics with the ball control. And then lastly, just don't give the Giants any type of hope. Don't let them hang around in the fourth quarter. It's like a 3-point game or coming down to the last possession. We've seen it. You don't want the referees getting involved late with some fluky call, giving them a chance to win. You know what I'm saying? I know it's probably going to be a little tight early, but that's where the run game comes in. Let's wear those guys down. So when we get to the fourth quarter, pound it out, ball control. Let's just get rid of these dudes, man. Like we got them in the Jets. Let's go ahead and clinch this, get this playoff spot clinched, get these players rested, going to and see what happens once we get into what the coaches call the tournament.
Right.
Once you get in the tournament, anything can happen, man. So that's pretty much it, man. I don't think it's anything too complicated, as far as our keys.
And I think that's the way we've been all year. We've been basic. First of all, we understand that we're not Kansas City. Like, so all of the stuff that Kansas City does well, or how well they look when they do this and that, and then when they move this guy over here and we're not that team. Now we could be, and I think we have the personnel to potentially
Right.
be, but right this second, we just need to do the basic stuff because we're good enough to do the basic stuff and get into the playoffs.
Right. And you know what else? You know what else? One thing I was thinking about the other day. If you look at all the playoff teams in the AFC right now, the way that the Browns are rolling right now, we may be the only team that will have a balanced offense. If you look at KC, they pass the ball all day. Now they do have decent running backs that can run, but they pretty much spread it out. They let it fly. Buffalo doesn't really have a good running game at all. Zach Moss and Singletary, they're decent backs, but they don't use them. Like Josh Allen is,
He's
slinging the
all
ball
pass.
around
He's
the
all
field.
pass all the time.
Yeah, I don't know what Indianapolis is. They're just more of a defensive team.
Same with Tennessee.
Yeah,
Same thing
with Tennessee.
but their
Same thing
defense
with
also
Baltimore.
helps them.
Right. So we will be the only team that has a legitimate balanced attack where we can beat you on the ground, and now the way that Baker's playing, we can beat you on the air too. And that's I think that is a really big key once we get into the playoffs. On how far we can actually go, man. Like I'm getting kind of excited about the potential.
Oh, for sure.
That we can, the potential of this team as a whole, man.
There were so many good things, even in the frustrations that we carried out from Monday. There were so many good things that came out of Monday's game. If you just want to pay some attention to like football,
right?
If you just want to pay attention to good football, or to what winning football equates to eventually, or what will equate to winning eventually. Excuse me. And the Browns did a lot of that on Monday. You know how many times and I don't watch a lot of sports talk anymore. I used to watch it all the time. It's just gotten on my nerve. I get irritated with people. I get irritated with the exact same story. I get irritated with the exact same take.
I'm right there with you.
So I don't listen to it a lot, but I wanted to hear what guys were saying because a lot of people have been heavy on Baker in terms of him sucking or not being what we need him to be or whatever, blah, blah, him not being a franchise guy, et cetera, et cetera. All of the stuff that I've heard since that game, they said the exact same thing I said in that stadium before it happened when we were down by 14. I said, what happens after this is going to tell me a lot about this team. Yep. Everybody who I've heard this week has said, this ain't the same Browns, dog. These are not the same Browns. So that feels good and that sounds good. But we have to continue to push that. We have to continue to be that. We can't just rest on it because, okay, this particular week, we're not the same Browns, and you come into this game and stink it up and put yourself in a spot where now you need so-and-so and such to lose in order for you to have a shot.
And it's funny you say that because this reminds me of 2007. Almost. You know what I'm saying? Like you, even though we can't clinch with the win this week, but it's one of those things where
it starts the clinching to happen.
Yeah, you got to go in here and get this one. Then you're going into the Jets game, probably with the chance to clinch at that point if you beat the Giants. So
but you got to
now ain't the time to. And now the time to rest on your laurels. It's not the time to start doing anything pretty and cute and all that stuff. Now it's down to the nitty-gritty.
It's time for you to actually play harder. It's actually time for you to play harder right now. You got to go harder right now. So, just kind of, I'm going to bring up another point before I go into my case real quick.
Okay.
I forgot to mention this, and if I haven't, the Giants have a really good run defense, so they're going to be pretty tough to run on. But I got full faith in our offensive line, and I think I have full faith in our scheme, how we do it, that we'll be able to run like we want to at a point. It may not be all game, but we'll be able to run like we want to at a point. Because I'm sure that makes sense
I
to
know
me.
what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it makes sense to the folks outside. So here's what I mean. We may have a couple of, let's say we have 5 to 10 runs that only get us 2 yards. So it looks like, man, we've run 10 times for 20 yards. That's nothing. It's going to come a point because of how we scheme our run and because of the necessity of the run for the pass to happen, for us to be successful on the pass, because they're only middle of the road defensively against the pass. I think we can pass on them, but a lot of our passes come from the play action. So you're going to have that run. So, saying all of that, in the middle of those, say, 10 runs, hypothetical 10 runs, we're going to bust off a 10, a 12, a 15, just like we have all year long, because schematically we're better in terms of blocking, and our running backs are just good at finding the holes. So we're going to be able to do that. We just cannot not go to the run because it ain't working. We have to consistently go to the run, and that's one of my keys. Cannot go away from the run. I don't give a damn what's happening. I don't care how many times they blitz and you get caught in the backfield for a loss. We have to stay with the run because the run begets the pass for us. The run begets the pass. We run well, or the threat of our running well is what allows us the space in the pass game because we do a lot of play action. So we have to get back to allowing the run to dictate the pace. The pass is going to happen, and it's not, saying anything about Baker. I'm fine with what Baker has done over the last few weeks. What I'm saying is you have more control of the game when you're pounding that ball and when you're not afraid to continue to pound that ball. You have to keep running the ball. And that brings me to my third point, Kevin Stefanski. I had questions about you last game. Super questions about you, bro. Wasn't sure what you were about. Wasn't sure what you was doing. I did not like that play calling that you did on Monday. In this particular game, man, you have to be able. He's an analytical guy, so I think in certain cases and in certain circumstances, he makes plays. My kids are telling me good night. He makes, in this, he sets up his game plan based on analytics. So he's going to run this play based on what the numbers suggest. This is where a lot of coaches, this is where it start to separate the traditional coach from the analytical coach. This is where that head butting comes. I don't have a problem with analytics, just like I don't have a problem with just being able to read the damn field. My problem is when you only do one thing. You have to find a balance in the two. I know you want to run this play right now, but goddamn it, if that ain't working, or if this situation calls for something else, just call the right play, bro. Because I have faith that Kevin Stefanski got the right play. He's just playing analytical football.
Right.
You have to stop thinking analytically and start thinking football at a certain point. At a certain point. I need this dude to get out of his own way and run the ball like we know we need to run the ball. I think he's in his way. Baker threw 47 times on Monday. We don't need to throw 47 times in this game to win this game.
Right.
And if he doesn't
understand, and that's back to protecting our defense.
It's like not protecting. Thank you, man.
We need to keep them off the field as much as possible.
Come on, bro. You have to understand that your defense isn't good. So playing analytical offense that overall leaves your defense open and vulnerable is irresponsible as a head coach. You have to care about both sides of that ball. And how you gonna play analytical offense but play regular ass defense? Where do your analytics come in on defense?
Right.
So you have to play regular at some point and at some time about something. So Kevin Stefanski, if his ability to make an adjustment that doesn't have anything to do with analytics, just regular football, is important to our success as we go forward. So those are my three keys. Can Kevin Stefanski do that? He needs to if he can. Our defense, and then our run game. We got to control that game, because I think everything I just said goes into helping our defense.
I agree 100%. All right. Is that Mariota in there for the Raiders? I forgot he played with them.
Wait, let me see.
Yeah, it's a Marcus Mariota side. Number 8, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the Raiders are fighting for their playoff lives. We actually need the Raiders to lose this game. Even though they're on the outside looking in, we want to keep them on the outside. So that's one less team you have to worry about. So if they lose this game, I think that pretty much almost eliminates them. Not mathematically, but figuratively speaking, that pretty much knocks them out the playoffs. It still does
depend on what. I don't know that Mariota's the guy you want to see throwing the ball a lot.
No.
Mariota is a game manager. Oh, wait. Maybe not.
I mean, he all right. I mean, yeah, he's completing a couple of passes now, but it's still Marcus Mariota at the end of the day. So,
well, no.
All right, man. So, what's next on the docket? You want to move into our NBA preview?
Yeah, let's go ahead and discuss a little bit of basketball. We haven't done that in a little bit.
Because the preseason has started in earnest.
Preseason. Wait. So since we're about to switch, let me switch hats here, so I can be full-fledged in the game. So I can be all the way in the game on y'all. I'm always in.
All right. So NBA preview. I think the Cavs have one more preseason game. That will be Friday in Madison Square Garden. And they pretty much have probably about 3 or 4 days before they have to start the season. So I think we start on the 22nd.
Yeah, you're starting on the 22nd. That's like next Tuesday.
Yeah, against LaMelo Ball and the vaunted Charlotte Hornets. So where do we want to begin, man? We want to start with who did we pick to come out of each conference?
Well, yeah, let's go to the East, because I think everybody's picked for the West. Let me tell you.
You're ahead of me, because whatever you woo-hoo-hooing about, I ain't seen yet.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'll let you fill it in when I get there.
Mariota back to throw. He's looking. He goes deep. And the Darren Waller touchdown. That was pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mariota, we don't need you out here looking like Joe Montana. We need you out here looking like please.
He dimed him up.
He sure did. That was right there, right on money.
That was a dime piece for old Marcus. Old Marcus Darling out here.
All right, so we're looking at the East.
Let's go to the East. Let's start in the East, where the Cavs reside. Let's figure out. So this particular year, we've seen some significant moves and some significant folks going from one place to another place. And I think that's just the way anymore. Every year, you kind of got to check the roster spots and figure out who's where and who's doing what. When those strong players go to other places, you just want to make sure that they're, the team that you left. So where are they now? You know what I mean? What did they do to replace
Right.
what they just lost? Because in your mind, and especially in this particular instance, where we've only it's only been 70 days since the finals, since the last game of the finals. Usually you get like, a little over 3 months, close to 4 months. You got roughly 2 months, and
But you
all
know
of
what though?
this stuff happened. So it's really quick.
Here's the caveat though. Some teams have had pretty much like 6 months off. The only teams coming on the short rest are the teams that made the playoffs.
However, while those some teams have, we're still talking about player movement, which all happened.
Well, player movement, yeah.
A recent
player
2 week.
movement,
So
yeah.
we don't know who's.
I got you.
Who's on these teams as the season starts to kick in.
Right.
So, we watched a lot of people move, or a lot of trades happen from between the draft, free agent period.
Now that's true.
And the trade deadline, or whatever the hell you want to call that. So we saw a lot of action and within like a 2.5, 3 week period that just went berserk. And if you guys were listening, and I keep telling y'all need to listen. We talked about that in the show probably about a month ago, that this action was going to be really quick, that it was going to happen fast as hell, and that if you weren't paying attention, you're going to turn on the TV and be like, how in the hell did XYZ end up on
with him? Yeah.
This team? Because it happened just like that. Right after the draft. Draft is on a Wednesday. Free agent period hit on Friday. On Sunday, everything went berserk. And that's exactly what's happened. So we've had a lot of movement. We've had a lot of rumored movement. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen with a lot of guys. But why don't you tell me, what do you think about the East? Like, who do you think this year is coming out of the East?
The team I'm picking to come out of the East are the Boston Celtics. I think they have been on the cusp for a while. Jason Tatum is really developing into a superstar. Jaylen Brown is developing into a really, really good player. I didn't realize how young they still are, man. I feel like Jason Tatum's been in the league for 5 years. He's only 22 years old.
He has, but he's young.
Yeah, he's only 22. Jaylen Brown's 24. You got Kemba Walker. Marcus Smart has really improved his game as well. So the East is, for the most part, man, is weak. The only team I think that will really be a serious contender, as if they stay healthy, would be Brooklyn. I don't trust Philly. Embiid and Ben Simmons, man, those guys, I don't know if they're really dedicated to winning. I think they're more into the spotlight, like the fame part of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much
they feel like they're playing good enough already.
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. And Doc Rivers being a player's coach, I don't know if he's going to be able to rein that in, but we'll see. That'll be interesting. But the East is just weak, man. Besides, Boston and Brooklyn, I don't really see any. You got Milwaukee. Hold on, let me touch on Milwaukee. Here's the thing on Milwaukee. They picked up Jrue Holiday. Very good pickup. I love Jrue Holiday as a player. The problem is he can't stay healthy. Dude always. Jrue Holiday normally plays about 50 games a year, has some type of injury. And with that trade they made to get Jrue Holiday, they lost a lot of their veteran depth. Like, you don't have George Hill, you don't have Bledsoe, you don't have, I want to say they lost Ilyasova too. I don't think he's no longer on that roster. So when I looked at their roster,
they lost Wes Matthews and Robin Lopez.
Yeah, so when I looked at their roster, they don't have a lot of veteran depth on that team. And the kids did Giannis working enough on the off season to diversify his game. So I can't count them out because Giannis is a great player. So right now I'm looking at Boston, Brooklyn, Milwaukee as a main contenders, I don't think Miami has enough to do anything. They still didn't pick up another guy to really go with Jimmy Butler. They got Goran Dragic, but they don't have another guy that can go out there and get 30 when they need it. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of pressure on Jimmy. So go ahead. What's your
I don't think
thoughts, man?
I don't think that, Miami, because Jimmy ain't a 30-point a night guy anyway.
But he can be. If he has to go get it, he can get it. They don't have anybody else that can do that.
They don't, but I just think that they're more of a win by committee type team. I think they're really good. But I agree with where your point is going, because I think at the end of it, as you're getting into the playoffs, as you're getting into, the potential of the finals, I can't rule them out of the finals per se. They are the defending Eastern Conference champions, so let's give them some credit. So if they come down to being in the finals again, who do they have that's going to score you 25 or 30? Because to be honest, you need to have a guy that can do that on a nightly basis. That's one of the reasons why LeBron has been so successful, because he's a guy that can get you not just 25 to 30 a night. He's also a guy that can get you potentially 10 rebounds and 10 assists every single night, whether it's a regular season game, whether it's a preseason game, and in most cases, playoffs and finals. So you need to have that guy, and I think that's what wore them out eventually, because LA had two guys that could do that.
Right.
You really only had one guy that has that potential, but that's not really where he's the most strongly suited. Because Jimmy ain't as strongly suited to be every night I'm putting up 35, 40 every single night. That's never been what he has been, and nowhere he's been in his career. And honestly, it's not where he's most efficient. So you do need to have somebody else. I like, Duncan Robinson. I like, some of the other young guys that they have on that team. So your hope is that maybe these guys will develop into
maybe what's his name, Hero?
Tyler Hero. Maybe
maybe he develops into that. Yeah,
into right. Like bigger players, or in that. But with the East, and again, I think this is inside of a vacuum where everybody's healthy. So to me, the East is kind of open. And I'm saying this because now you have a healthy Kyrie. Now you got a healthy KD. Brooklyn looks a little bit nasty, bro.
They do.
I watched them the other night, and I was like, and I'm a Kyrie guy anyway, but just being fair, I'm like, they actually got a squad. They actually got some guys that are that could get them. I'm not saying that they're gonna win no title. Don't misunderstand where I'm going with this. But I think they can challenge for the East.
They can. The core of that team has been together for a while.
Yeah.
Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie. What's the center's name? Jared Allen?
Yep. So the question becomes, how do Dinwiddie has been kind of the star, so to speak, with everybody being injured or whatever. The question is, can he continue to have an effect with Kyrie? Can he continue to have an effect with KD? What I mean?
He is Kyrie staying healthy. Well, he has to stay healthy this year.
I said in a vacuum. I'm just speaking in a vacuum where everybody's healthy.
Here's the thing too.
The true question is, you're right. The real question is, can you stay healthy?
And you have the COVID situation too. Now,
so
KD has already had it. Now I'm thinking. Now who knows? You're hearing stuff that people are catching it twice. Who knows? But just assuming because KD has already had it, I'm assuming that he's good. So that on that front, it may be cool that he already had it. You ain't got to worry about him. But other than that, like you're going to have a lot of superstars miss games this year.
Well, you're gonna have a lot of people
because
that's
of
not
COVID.
superstars miss too.
This period, yeah. But
You
you're going to have
just like you have in
superstars
NFL.
affecting, the game. Them not being on the court affecting games more when they're not on the court.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like you got the same thing happening in the NFL right now, where you have guys that aren't playing because of COVID. So you're gonna have the same thing. Now, here's the crazier part when it comes down to the NBA versus, say, the NFL. NFL only plays one game a week per se.
Exactly.
The NBA, you might have 5 games this week. So
Yep.
let's just say, and again, I'm not wishing this on anyone, a major superstar or a major contributor to a team comes down with this on a random day, but you got 5 games within that 7-day stretch. You got to be out for close to 10 days. But in those 4 or 5 games, it's jockeying position for playoffs and or the division that's going to occur in that. How do you recover from that with those types of, situations and restrictions?
Right.
Like it's a lot to think about. If I had to pick a team that's coming out of the East, it's tough for me because there's parts of me that want to say Boston. It's tough for me because there's parts of me that want to say Brooklyn. It's tough because I also want to say Milwaukee. But I watched Milwaukee collapse the last 2 or 3 years in the playoffs. And I can't like, what are y'all doing? Why? I don't know if it's just Giannis's inability to do more than dribble all the way down
That's
to
exactly what it is.
The 4-inch line and then dunk on someone.
That's exactly what it is. All they did was build a wall to the basket.
And that seems like that's what they do every single year. And the dude has learned how to stretch his game out, but I don't think he's done it effectively enough. Or I'm gonna tell you something else, because I can't put all of it on Giannis. Chris Middleton ain't been the same dude that he was 2 years ago.
Exactly. And
so
Giannis needs a post game. He needs to get a back to the basket game.
He's been needing a post game. I feel like this. Here's my thought process, and I agree with you, bro. Here's my real thought process, though, and I know we old school. But to me, if you 6'10" to 7'1" and don't know how to catch the ball in the post, throw yourself in the nearest river because you're a waste of freaking time.
Right.
You at least have to have. I'm not saying that you got to take it every single time and every single day into the post, or you know what I mean. Like I ain't saying go back to the 80s and 90s where you do the back to the thing, just pound the ball back to the basket, pound, and then turn around. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you get the ball down low and don't know what to do with it, and don't know how to keep guys on your back, or don't know how to still look over the top and maybe pass out when you see the double team coming, because all of the guys that I ever watched knew how to do that. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, Patrick
Ewing. And what that does is, if Giannis had a back to the basket game, post game, you're going to force a double team down low, and now you can pass it out to your shooters.
And that's what
makes the game easier for them.
That's exactly where I'm going with that. Like, I understand that the game is more about motion now, but I want y'all to think about something. I want y'all to remember something. One of the worst low post players to be 7 feet tall in the history of basketball got to the finals and was considered a superstar. He didn't really have a low post game, but he could at least catch the ball in a low post with his back to the basket and find his other guys. That's Dwight Howard when he was in Orlando. He knew how to get into the post, get the ball, pound, 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 and look and watch the double team come and then kick it out.
Right.
They were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and even beat the Cavs that they shouldn't have beat that year, by the way. But they beat the Cavs on their way to going to the finals.
Yep.
So you don't even have to be mega skilled to do it because Dwight Howard plays the exact same way today as he played in 2009.
Right.
The exact same way. He
Hasn't changed his game. The only thing he does now is that he's learned how to be a little bit more grittier on defense. Throwing cheap shots and stuff like that. That's it. But other than that, his game never evolved from where it was.
Like, you don't have to be a LeBron type of player. And I'm speaking of guys that are 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot. And not everybody in the league. I'm not saying that. Those bigger guys, those power forwards, those fives, even the new age, as I made this term up, these new age stretch 7-footers that, make guys do stuff that they didn't want to do. You still need to know how to play down low. Like, if the ball come down low, especially like you got a mismatch on you, man, if you don't give me this ball down low in this post game and let me put this little dude on my back, and I'm about to give him this little bit of work, like, that's simple. That's simple, right. But you don't see that anymore in the game because it slows the quote unquote slows the game down. Anyway, I'm gonna jump out on a limb, and I'm gonna say Brooklyn is going to the finals this year. I think that Brooklyn is gonna take the East. And again, that's why I started that with the predication, that these guys will be healthy all year. Because if Kyrie
that's just part of it anyway.
No, it is. It absolutely
is for them to make their run.
It's always a part of it. But they got to touch defense, and I think Jared Allen is a guy that can help them defensively and
they got DeAndre Jordan too. I forgot they have DeAndre Jordan.
They have DeAndre Jordan. They also ended up with Landry Shamet this year. Landry can shoot
from the Clippers. Yeah.
So you got guys that can shoot. Like, they have a solid. They got a squad. Like, they got guys that can play.
Yeah, they have a lot of depth on that team.
Yeah. So I was actually shocked. I only watched the game to see who was on their team. I know that Kyrie is back, and I know that KD is back, but I was like, I don't know nobody else short of Dinwiddie and those guys. I didn't know, like, the full depth of what they do. So watching, and I looked over, I'm like, damn, that's Jeff Green. They got Jeff Green. He ain't gonna play that much, but you can still bring him in. He's a 6'9" long guy that could come in just to cause havoc, and he can shoot, by the way. So he's got a decent mid-range game on himself. So, I mean, these guys added some guys that could change and make what KD and what Kyrie do more effective. And I'll be interested to see what Steve Nash does from a head coaching standpoint.
I really don't think Steve Nash should be coaching the team. I think he'll be more so of a manager of sorts, kind of a
that's exactly what he's going to be.
I think he'll be like an organizer.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be managing the personalities.
Right.
Mike D'Antoni and what's my guy named Jacques Vaughn will be actually coaching the team. I think that's how that's going to go. And I think Steve Nash keeping Jacques Vaughn actually keeps some integrity in that locker room for Steve Nash.
Yeah,
I think that was a hell of a rehire. I think that was a hell of a rehire.
Yeah, and just to touch on the Cavs really quickly here, it's really not too much to say about them. The Cavs are in full rebuild phase.
So
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, tell me this though, because it may not be a lot to talk about with the Cavs. I mean, listen, I'm a Cavs fan, and I'm always rooting for the Cavs. And I see stuff written down. I've read a few things today. I don't see anybody giving us more than 25 wins. I don't totally agree with that, but I want to see what you think. What do you?
Everything. Yeah, I was going to make that point that the Cavs are in full rebuild phase. They actually have a mismatch at center that nobody else has, and Bickerstaff has to coach to the Cavs' ability, to whatever their strong points are. And I know you're in today's age of getting the ball up and down the court, putting up as many shots as you can. The Cavs actually aren't built that way yet. I'm actually been impressed with the way Andre Drummond has been playing, because I didn't think he was going to come here and play hard at all once he got here.
I didn't either. I'm glad you said that. I didn't either, bro.
Yeah, and he's shown like some leadership on the court. So the thing that I'm watching for, like, I don't have any expectations of the Cavs. I want to see growth. I want to see how they progress during the season. And if you use that matchup to your ability with Andre Drummond, like feed him the ball in the post, you have shooters. You have Colin Sexton. You have Darius Garland. You have Darren Wendler. You have Kevin Love. If Kevin Love actually decides that he's going to play hard this year, you don't know what Kevin Love is going to do. But you have some things where you can create some mismatches there. And I think that the Cavs, like as weak as the East is, you may be able to sneak into an HC, slot like that. Some people will want the Cavs to tank to get another lottery pick, but to me, the way the draft is now, unless you're going to get that, you're going to get that number one pick. It really doesn't matter. I want the Cavs to get experience more so, because we do have a lot of young, talented players. So, like I said, I don't have any expectations. The Cavs aren't really going to I'm not going to rant too much about them when they're not playing well at all, because I know what's going on. It's a full rebuild, young squad. They're gonna go through periods where they're gonna lose 4 or 5 ball games in a row, just because.
And they might look bad doing it too.
Yeah, but then you're gonna see them when they start putting things together and start coming around. I think you're gonna see them. They might rip off a few, because that's what they were doing last year before COVID hit. They actually were starting to play well together. So
I think here's what I think about the Cavs. Well, here's my insight on the Cavs. First of all, one of the things that I would like to see happen this year, I want to see what growth and what development we get or have on Kevin Porter Jr.
We talked about that before.
That'll be something that tells me where we're going into next year and stuff like that. If Kevin Porter Jr. can show me some level of significant growth, and I think because Kevin Porter, even though he's not the same type of athlete that Larry Nance, I heard this somewhere else. I'm not sure if we talked about this or if I heard it somewhere else, but people were saying that that Larry Nance was kind of had the same consideration when he was first in the league. Like, he should be the guy who does this type of guy. Well, with having Larry Nance there, I think he can encourage or kind of mentor this kid to being the kind of player that he can actually be. This is another one of those teams that don't have a lot of veteran presence. Yeah, you got Drummond. Yeah, you got Kevin Love. But these aren't guys come into the league like, oh, I'm playing with Kevin Love, or I'm playing with Andre Drummond. It's not a lot of people coming into the league with that on their palettes. Like you would say, if you go to LA, you're like, bro, I'm about to play with LeBron. I'm about to play with AD. And you just listening to. I watched Gary Payton and Sean Kemp's NBA special last night, and they were talking about how the coach brought in guys that when he had discussions with them, these were guys that they said that Gary Payton and Sean Kemp had said, these are guys that inspire me. So they brought in Dr. J. They brought in Walter Payton. So when you have a respect for people, when they say, do this or do that, when Kobe say, man, don't go over there, go over here. You know what you're going to do? You're going to go over there because you respect Kobe. When LeBron say, nah, bro, you need to do this, that, and the fifth, you're going to do what LeBron say do. Because,
What happened?
The Chargers scored another touchdown. Right now, 16-10. So you got to have guys that you kind of respect. Not to say that the younger players don't respect the vets that are on the team. What I'm saying is I don't think we have those vets that motivate you for an entire season type veterans. And that's okay. I think we can still manage our way, through it if we tried to. But that's what BJ Bickerstaff is here for. That's part of what he needs to do as a coach. The unfortunate part for him is I think only Kevin will be a movable part. You ain't gonna be able to move Andre this year.
Well, yeah, you may be able to move Andre because he's in the last year of his contract.
Well, no, they re-signed him.
No, he picked up his 1 year option.
They only picked up the option. Is that all they did?
Yeah, that's all they did was pick up his 1 year option.
Okay, I thought they extended it.
So it's like he's really the only movable piece.
Yeah,
because Kevin Love got 3 years left on his contract.
But
nobody wants any parts of that.
Them cats, you never know. Going into the playoffs, you might get a squad that believes that Kevin Love.
Well, I hope so.
Well, here's the problem though.
Because I want him off my basketball team, so I hope somebody does.
The truth is, there ain't nobody in the league that believes Kevin Love gonna take them over the top.
The only team I can see Kevin Love going to and actually really making a difference is Portland.
The Lakers. Who?
Portland. Or the Lakers.
I was thinking the Lakers, but
because the one thing Portland does not have a big that can score. Now they have, what's his name? He was hurt a lot last year.
They got Nurkic.
But I don't know. I know he was hurt last year. He kind of fell off a little bit. I think Kevin Love as a pure stretch four would fit in well with the way that they play.
Man, I'd take Nurkic over Kevin Love every day of the week. Now, if you could have them both on the same squad, I agree with that.
Right. So, but
what do you give up to get it? That's the other problem.
Exactly.
Do you lose trying to get that? And
right.
Just the potential, is the potential big enough for that?
And if I'm the Cavs, the only way that I move Drummond this year, if he pretty much tells you I'm not re-signing with you,
yeah.
If there's a potential to sign him, I will stand pat and go through the season. And if he signs somewhere else,
I think you got to kick the tires on it. And you got to see what his numbers look like. Now, if his numbers look anywhere close to the 30 or so, close to $30 million that he's getting this year, you get on the phone. You don't even let the hot air come out of his mouth before you're on the phone looking to move that dude. Because ain't nobody paying you $28 million a year going forward from this particular year. You better go out here and have one of the best years that's ever been had by anybody ever.
Right.
And that's about the only way. I mean, listen, and this ain't no knock on Drummond. I like Drummond. I think he's a solid ball player, but he's not a $30 million a year guy. Not no more. He was when he was, doing the 20 and 18 stuff every other night and with the 5 blocks or whatever. But he's not even that guy right this second. Now, he can still be serviceable. And I mean, he can actually be even more than serviceable. Let's be real. But I'm not paying, $28 million a year to come play for my team when you're on the backside of your How old is he? Like 28, 29?
I don't even know if he's that old.
You
Because
know,
Tristan's only 29. I don't know if he's been in the league as long as Tristan has. So
well,
he might be like a little, maybe 26, 27, something like that.
Tristan is a bag of M&Ms anyway, so who cares? And he's not on my team, thank God.
You would not lay off Tristan.
I'll lay off him. He ain't on my team. I don't care what he does. I don't care what he does. Like, at all. Let's see. Now, how the heck does this? How does it do this? Tells me everything about this dude.
Except his age.
Except his age.
If you go straight to Wikipedia, you should be able to see his age.
I was trying not to do that because I was trying. Okay, here we go. We're gonna have to just go on ahead and go to the WIC. So he's 27. His birthday is in August. So he's 27. He was born in 93. So he's 27 years old.
Okay. So he's still young.
Still, and that he's actually kind of in his prime. The question is his motivation, and you might be able to get this guy off, honestly, because he's 27. You might be able to get a good haul for him.
Right. I just don't want to trade him for a bunch of second-round picks.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be. If we don't get a good deal for him, I just say just stand pat, see what happens.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
and go from there. I think
you don't just move him to move him. You gotta again, this is a chess game. If this dude is 27 years old, just be 28 going into the next season. Yeah, that's being healthy. That's at least another 3 or 4 years of good play. Being a 7-footer. Right. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I don't think either one of us have huge expectations for the Cavaliers. What'd you say?
I think that the Cavs will probably win 31 games.
How many games are we playing this year? 72?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll give the Cavs. I'll give them an even 30. Or like so, with the possibility of maybe sneaking into an 8th seed in a playoff. So I think we'll be able to compete with.
And that's why I was trying to tell one of my boys this. He was mad because they was like the Cavs won't win more than 25 games. I said, yeah, but it's gonna be at least 10 games short this year. No, but 25 games ain't shit. It's not, but we're short 10 games. So if you look at those 10 games, we're talking about a team that's kind of not really even middle of the road.
Anybody that has expectations of the Cavaliers this year are delusional. Period. Like seriously, like what do you expect from this team? They signed a bunch of nameless guards in the offseason. You know what I'm saying? And I don't blame them for doing that. Nobody's gonna come here right now as a free agent. Nobody's significant.
You just gotta sign what you can sign to fill out the
like when you're doing stuff like re-signing Delly, I saw people that were excited that we re-signed Delly, and I'm like, why?
I saw that junk too. Like, what are y'all?
People here get too nostalgic. Yeah, Delly was part of the championship team, but and I like Delly.
Look,
he doesn't fit in. Doesn't fit in with us right now and what they're trying to do at all.
You already know how I feel about that stuff, bro. I truly believe, and I'll say it every opportunity I get. Here at Cleveland, we love mediocre people.
Sure do.
We love mediocre ball players, man. If you're a marginal ball player, now if you're Albert Bell, a potential MVP, should have been a Hall of Famer, without the injuries and whatnot. Oh, we hate you because you decided to leave. We don't want nothing to do with you. You got to go. But if you're marginal, really didn't have a full effect on every single solitary game,
Right.
but you wanted to be in Cleveland. Oh, we love you to death. Oh, we
Exactly.
love you. We love you, Andy.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I don't want to go down that road, but you're absolutely
Bullshit.
right.
So
So
listen,
we haven't touched on the West at all.
we did not. I was just getting ready to say we ain't touch on the West, so we got to figure out what's popping out West. So going as we go out West, let's discuss some things because, of course, we know the Lakers won the championship. They were clearly the best team in the West last season. Um, but this year, we've got a Clipper team that has played together for a while with a new coach, by the way. But we also have a healthier, not a completely healthy, but a healthier Golden State team. The question is, can LA come out of the West and still reign A over the West and then B reign over the NBA?
I think
My
LA will come out the West easily.
my take is they're coming out of the West. The additions that they have had, and it's so crazy because I told you I played on 2K 2K20, and I went to the Lakers on the 2K. I played in the career part of the game. So I chose to go to the Lakers. I play with LeBron and AD and those guys. And in the middle of the season, they made this trade. Guess what they got? Marc Gasol. So now this dude is on the actual Lakers team right now. And I'll tell you what I thought when that happened then. I'm gonna tell you what I thought when that happened now. In the virtual world where we traded and got Marc Gasol, I said, "Oh, we about to win the chip," because we don't require that much of you, bro.
Right.
But I know what you do defensively. I know what you do offensively. He's a capable ball player, so we got it. I think the addition of him, uh, what's the kid, Schroeder,
Oh, it's a great pickup.
those pickups were so huge to add to what they already had. Because listen, they already had depth. Now you get guys like uh, that they already had on their squad. Talon Harris Taylor, I think that's his name. Talon Harris Taylor or something like that. I forget the full name, but this kid can ball. So now you get the opportunity because you've played for a year or been here for a year or so with the rest of these guys, the Wes Matthews and Montrezl Harrell. Listen, all they did was just reload. We used to have a saying here in Ohio about Ohio State. We don't we reload. We don't have to figure out what we're gonna do next. Nah, we just gonna reload. We're just gonna put more bullets in this gun, and we're gonna shoot this thing up. And that's exactly what the Lakers did. They just reloaded. So to me, the Lakers are coming out of the West. It's good to see Golden State being healthy. I hate that Clay won't be as healthy or healthy at all this
And
year.
that's what hurts them. And if you look at their
That's
roster, without having Clay on that team, I don't really see Golden State doing much. With the fact that you still got Steph Curry, you got Draymond, they
they'll
will
go deep.
be
They'll get out of the first round and maybe even out
yeah,
of the second round, but they're
yeah,
not.
they're a prideful team, a veteran team. So they're gonna, it's not gonna be an easy out. But without Clay, I really don't see Golden State, doing a whole lot this year. The team that I'm going to really focus on and watch this year is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm really fascinated with them because they're a very, very young team, but super talented. And they added some veteran depth with like
I
Eric
liked them
Bledsoe.
last year though. I did. I thought they were going when they made that trade. I said everybody like ha ha ha. They got AD in LA. They're gonna be straight. Yeah, the LA gonna be straight, but I think y'all need to keep some some spotlights on New Orleans because
Yeah, because now you get to see Zion now with no minutes restriction.
right.
Now you get to see him go full bore. So
And you got
that's
Ingram. Now you got Ingram playing.
yeah,
He done already got another season under his belt where he's the
right.
guy.
They also signed. I don't know if they got him in a trade or if they signed him, but they got Steven Adams. I like Steven
Yeah,
Adams.
that was a trade. So you got some more bigs. Y'all gonna be a problem. Now they ain't gonna be able to figure out how to beat the Lakers or nothing like that, but they're gonna be
Right.
a problem. They're gonna be a problem, and they're gonna be in some folks' way. And they're probably gonna, like a team. Now, see, you won't be a problem for a team like LA, but they may be a problem for a team like Portland. It may be a problem for a team like Denver. The up and coming teams that are still trying to find
Right.
their balance in the West. A team like New Orleans could be a team that puts y'all asses out.
Right.
And
So
have
even
y'all,
so like a team like Denver, I don't know if they're ready yet. They had a very good season last year, but do they have another guy opposite Jamal Murray that can go get you 30? They're a solid team, but do
the
they
Joker,
have the stars that can take them to the next level?
but the Joker has to play. The Joker got to figure out something. And this is a crazy thought because the Joker does a lot. But the Joker Joker gonna have to figure out whether he can he give it to you every single night
Right.
on the 25 to 30 points a night because he is the other guy. He is the other guy. But can he give you the 30 and then play defense too? Because if they're in the conference finals again, let's say, your man is Anthony Davis. So can you do that and still be effective?
And
We
still
saw,
score.
yeah, and we saw that was a problem for him. So, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to
Yeah,
dissect.
because you look at it from the opposite end. The Lakers AD doesn't really have to guard Jokic. You can throw Montrezl Harrell or
I was getting ready to say not
somebody
now.
else like that.
Now I'm only talking about what they did in this last conference
Right.
finals. But now today, yeah, you're right. You got Montrezl Harrell coming in that could possibly guard this dude. Like you got some more physical guys that can take up all of that extra weight and keep you fresher as if you're Anthony Davis. Shit,
Exactly.
I don't have to do all of that extra work. So
Exactly.
it's a lot to dissect when it comes down to the NBA. I'm kind of excited just because it'll be something else to watch. I got spoiled. I was watching basketball, baseball, and football all in the same week. So
Right.
I got spoiled. And then, when baseball was over with and
This whole
was over with,
I've been spoiled with everything. I've been spoiled with having football games almost every day of the week. Tuesday night football, Wednesday night football, Thursday.
Yeah, because they keep rotating. So I got a game on 2 games on Tuesday or something like that, or 2 on Monday.
You got 2 games coming up on Saturday, plus college. You got a football game on Christmas Day, which is a Friday.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. So, yeah, I'm definitely been spoiled with all the sports that we've been having.
So what we gonna do in 2021 when it don't happen?
Times. Right.
Hopefully it don't happen this exact same way. And I'm only saying it that way because that would mean that COVID becomes a little more contained and we can get out a little bit more. And if that happens, we're gonna go back to normal where, between March and April, all we have is basketball, which is cool. But between July and September, all we got is baseball. Those are the worst gaps on the planet.
Right. And especially if the Indians suck. If the Indians suck, then it's really going to be a long summer. The only thing that you'll have football stuff going on with personnel moves and stuff like that. Training camp, that'll help a little bit. Anything else as far as the West? I think we both agree on the Lakers. The Clippers, man, I look at their roster today.
I got no faith
in them either. Now they gave Paul George that extension, which I was surprised at. A
I wouldn't have gave
5-year,
him.
$200 million extension. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't have gave
that's
him.
their money, not mine.
But
Um,
I don't have any faith in the Clippers. I don't have any faith in Pandemic P. He gonna have to prove me wrong. He gonna have to
Not
show
at
me.
all, man. Like maybe Ty Lue can get these guys
And
together.
I got some. I hope, if anything, if I can't say anything, if I have faith in any one thing, or if I'm hoping, or fingers crossed for any one person, it's Ty Lue. I like Ty Lue. I thought he was a good coach here. So I would like to see him
Yeah,
turn.
especially managing their personalities and everything, man. Because you got
Yeah,
some
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
personalities on the Clippers, and I don't know if their focus was all. Well, matter of fact, I know their focus wasn't all the way there last year. But I don't know, like, what team is going to get the Lakers the hardest time. Um, I would probably say a team like, I don't think it'd be a team like the Clippers or Houston or somebody like that. I think it'd probably be somebody like Denver that's athletic, that
It's
has a
gonna be
lot
a
of different
Portland, a
pieces.
team that just runs a lot and makes a lot of
Right.
shots. Like they keep the volume of shots up. I think that's the only way that you can really play with them, especially like if I were anybody who played the Lakers early this season, I would be pressing the whole game, especially if I was a team that didn't play in the bubble. So let's say if the Cavs opened up against the Lakers, if I'm BJ, I'm telling these cats, man, we running all night tonight.
Yep.
And yeah, like we just gonna run these guys because the Lakers are tired. I watched parts of their preseason game last night, and you could see it. They were tired, as they should be. I don't care what anybody says, and I keep telling people this. LeBron is still a 36-year-old man. I don't care how much money he spends on food and
Yeah, well, he got a lot of miles on legs, man. A
you
lot
got
of
a
miles.
shit ton of miles, bro. So, and that ain't me hating. That's not me wishing bad on the dude. I'm not wishing no bad whatsoever. I'm just being honest. The dude is 36, and the recovery
Father
time,
time undefeated.
father time. He might lose a round, but he ain't lost a fight yet.
Nope, never will.
He just ain't losing fights like that. So, I hope, that LeBron can keep stretching it out and looking good and all that stuff. But I put it like this. I've rarely seen a player play the amount of games, the amount of minutes, the way that LeBron has, and never gotten a serious injury.
The closest person maybe Tim Duncan.
It could, but Tim has had some years where Cass was like, man, he need to retire because his feet was messed up, his back was messed up.
That's true.
His knees were messed up. He had a couple years, and that right before especially before he won that last title, he had it. And I know this as a Spurs fan. He had a couple years where we were all like, oh, man, Timmy ain't Timmy. This dude is Timothy Duncan. He's not.
Not Tim Duncan.
He's not Tim. He's just the guy that signed the checks. So, it happens. It does. I remember Magic was balling and doing this thing, but then he reached the age where every other week he was pulling a hamstring. It just it's just regular wear and tear. Now again, the best part about these players today is that these guys put a lot of work in restructuring and recovering their bodies. They do a great job of this. LeBron is probably at the forefront of that because he realizes where his money is made. This dude does an awesome job of caring for his body. However, he's 36 years old this season. Going into the season, he'll be 30. I think he turns 36 a week after the season starts. So I'm 46, y'all. Just so you know, just for reference. No, I ain't do all the stuff, and I don't have $1 million to spend on my body. But that dude is old, and his body is old, and those joints are old. I'm not wishing any bad on him. I hope he can make it through the season without any injuries. I hope he can. I don't care if he wins titles or not. Like that ain't my issue. I cared when he left to go to Miami. I ain't want to see him win jack. But now I don't care if he wins championship or not, because it ain't gonna change my opinion about how I feel about him or whatever else everybody talking about. But as a ball player and as a black man and all the stuff that this dude does, he needs to make that money because every piece of change that he makes, he's gonna utilize it in some way to make an effect for his legacy. So man, make that money and do your thing. So I'm always looking for him to do his thing, but you got to understand, don't be surprised if he's out for a significant, like when he was out a year or so ago with the groin injury.
Right.
I said, man, that's probably the first time I've seen this dude have to sit down.
Yeah, it is. It was.
Like, I've never seen this dude have to sit down.
Any other time he sat down, he did it, voluntarily, for rest or whatever.
I hurt my finger. Yeah, I got a back strain. No, you don't. You just wanted to sit. And that's okay. As much as he played, that's okay. But we know what it is. So yeah, that's other than New Orleans and the West. I do want to see what if Sacramento can pick up their pace a little bit too.
It's their time. If Sacramento does not make the playoffs this year, then they need to go ahead and break up that team, because that's another team that's been together for a little while. And for whatever reason, they come close to getting to that 8th seed, and they fall off towards the end of the year. You got Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox. They got a couple other really good, solid players on that team. So it's really their time to go ahead and make that next step. Same thing with Phoenix. You don't have huge aspirations, but as far as getting into the playoffs on that back end of the playoffs, they should be. But it's a crowded field, though. You got the Utahs of the world.
The West is heavy.
Yeah, Houston's still out there. So, but it's time for these young guns, man. Like,
it's time for
De'Aaron Fox trying to $200 million extension.
Marvin Bagley and all these guys.
Yeah,
they gotta start playing ball. Like,
right.
You gotta start playing ball, y'all. Like, I don't want to be the old guy in a room telling you can't play or don't play, but it's money time for y'all.
Right.
All of y'all gonna want $200 million. All of y'all.
Yeah. Same thing
with coming up on those extensions. So how do you get that?
Same thing with Devin Booker.
Exactly.
That next step.
Exactly.
You got to be a leader of your team.
They gave Devin his money though. But guess what? Let Devin have another season like he had. He's gonna be looking for another contract.
Right.
So like, the Foxes and the Bagleys and these guys, y'all still on y'all rookie contract. The way you secure that money bag with that squad is by, making it to the playoffs or playing beyond your means or beyond or at least up to the standard of what these guys have. And just because you think you're playing up that way, but they'll always have that out to be able to say, yeah, but y'all ain't make the playoffs or y'all ain't won more than 30 games. Can you win 35 games this year? So they'll always sell you before they'll sell the team. You guys have to step up. You guys have to play basketball, like team basketball. They're one of the fastest teams in the league. They're a tough team to defend against because they're always running. But they're not that efficient. That's the other problem that I see.
No, they're not.
However, I like this team. They're young. They're exciting. When I watch them, I always say to myself, damn, these kids can play. Like they can play. And remember, I've been traveling. This will be the first year I'm not really traveling out west. I've been traveling for the last 2 years, so I'm talking because I've seen a lot of Sacramento games when I didn't even want to. I'd be somewhere smoking cigars, like, why are we watching Sacramento? It's the only game on right
The
now.
only game is on at the time. That's hilarious.
So you're like, all right, man. So you start watching these guys, and Marvin Bagley has underachieved. He has to figure his life out, or excuse me, I'm sorry, not his life, his career. He has to figure his career out,
right,
and decide that this is what he wants to do, and he's going to play up to par with.
Yeah, I thought Marvin Bagley was going to be the truth coming out of Duke, man. That dude was averaging something like 30 points when he was at Duke.
But here's the problem, though, Sean. I think the bigger issue is draft night is like getting married to a lot of these guys. Everybody thinks that getting married is the end of the trip.
Right. You're absolutely right. That's a great analogy.
They think you've arrived. And getting drafted, you think you've arrived. And you've been told you're 18, 19 years old, 20 years old potentially. You've been told for roughly 15 years of your life that you was the man. Now you got a coach telling you that you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But you are already spending that money right now. And you just showed up, to the job in a Maserati. Why do I need to keep doing this? Like you don't have the same motivation. Your motivation is getting drafted first or second or third.
Right.
So for a lot of these guys, they're there already. The question is, what was Marv's motivation going in? And
right.
If you could tap into that and get into that, then maybe you can discuss, because we've seen guys get drafted high and become kind of mediocre to less than mediocre guys, but have longevity. Like a guy like Tyson Chandler. Tyson was taken, I think, real high. He was in the lottery. And he was nothing for a number of years. And by nothing, I mean he was
never a scorer, and he came into his own.
And then he just developed himself into an actual NBA player. He figured out a way to stay in the league. Marcus Camby was another one. He never was the premier guy that he was when he was in college. But then he figured it out on the back end and turned himself into an actual, the back end of his career, Marcus Camby was beyond serviceable.
Right. He was a great defensive player. Yeah.
He could play. So you have those guys, but you also have those guys that's been the guy from day one. You also have those guys that you didn't think was going to be that great, and they turn into a monster.
Right.
So the levels are always kind of up and down, and
right.
It's up to you which one of those levels you're going to be on, or what kind of stuff you're going to push yourself to be. Because I think when it comes down to Sacramento, like we're talking about, these guys got a shit ton of talent on that. When you look on that roster on paper, but they got to translate the paper to the actual hard.
Yeah, it was just simple as put up or shut up time, man. So
this is it.
So we both agree on the Lakers coming out the West. You had Brooklyn coming out the East. So I got a Celtics Lakers finals. You got a Brooklyn LA finals. All right.
Again,
so
and the caveat that in the vacuum, excuse me, that everybody's
staying healthy. All right. So we can go ahead and just touch on Ohio State. They're coming up on the Big Ten championship against the Northwestern Wildcats. I don't know what the line is. I'm pretty sure Ohio State is a heavy favorite. And this is pretty much.
I saw it earlier.
And I haven't watched Northwestern play all year. I know they've got one loss against Michigan State. I believe. So they're coming in at 6-1. They're normally always a well-coached team, no matter what their record is. Their coach has been there for years, and they're always a tough matchup. But I think coming into this game, especially hearing all the talk that Ohio State does not deserve to be in the college football playoffs this year, the statement needs to be made. So I expect Ohio State to come out and dominate from beginning to end, make a statement. And that's pretty much my analysis. Like I said, I don't know too much about Northwestern other than them being well coached. So
we have, I just looked it up. So as of earlier this morning, we opened up this morning as 20.5-point favorites.
Okay.
So
that sounds about right.
I expect us to win that game, and I've always expected us to win that game. However, they were talking about us not being there, so I'm excited that we're there. The one thing I know that prevails over everything when it comes to college football is money. So I knew that they would find a way to make sure Ohio State got where they needed to get, because it's all about money. Because even if they don't make money from the seats, they're going to make money from the commercials. And that's, boys and girls, that's what America is all about, money. Y'all think it's about patriotism. Y'all think it's about your integrity and your rights and all that bull crap. Y'all think it's about all of that. No, it's not.
Nope.
It's about money. And if they can make money, they will shit on you. They will shit on your house. They will shit on your kids. They don't give a damn about none of that. Unless you can make them some money.
And it'll be one of them nasty Taco Bell shits too. They want to give you the benefit of give you a nice healthy shit. It'd be a nasty Taco Bell, just infested nasty dump. That's what they'll do.
It's gonna be one of them Taco Bell after I just had a whole night of Hennessy shots.
Right.
It's gonna be full-fledged shit on you.
Right.
So stop thinking that America, quote unquote, the beautiful, or that the government cares too much to. Man, I used to work for the government. I haven't quoted that in so long. I don't know. The government cares too much. What? The government don't give a shit about y'all. That's the crazy. Y'all stand up for this flag. They don't stand up for y'all. The people behind the flag don't stand up for y'all.
Look, we're not supposed to be going down this political rant.
We ain't. We're here now.
Look, the thoughts and views of two guys into the mic does not reflect whatever that disclaimer is.
Yeah, whatever that disclaimer is. Don't listen to the. I might have to edit all of this out.
You done lost the 5 viewers that we have.
All 6 viewers that we thought we had. We now have to find 6.
Right.
It's all good. God bless the USA and no place else.
All right, man. So I think that we can revisit Ohio State as long as we win this game, which I expect us to fully do. Then we can figure out who we're playing in the college football playoffs. Then we can probably do a little bit more in-depth analysis. Like I said, Northwestern, I really don't expect them to pose much of a. They're going to fight hard. They're going to play hard. But I think Ohio State.
My guess is that they'll play hard.
Yeah.
My hope is that we'll pull away and keep it at a distance. The over/under is 57.5. So I actually look, and that's actually, to be honest, that's kind of low.
It is kind of low.
That's kind of low because I'm thinking 57.5 with us with a 20-point. So y'all think these guys only gonna score 20 points on us, or what? What'd you say?
Exactly. I don't think so.
So, anyway, so hopefully we win this game so we can shut Dabo Swinney up and get ourselves into the playoffs.
Yeah, just shut up the whole media thing about Ohio State not deserving to be. This has been a weird, wacky, year. So all the same rules ain't going to apply to everybody, and it hasn't. Now all of a sudden, when it comes on Ohio State, that we got to abide by a different set of rules.
Let me tell you why I got an issue with Dabo Swinney and all his talk. Because here's the correct response to any of that. Hey, I'm just trying to get my team into the championship, into the playoffs. I'll let the committee who's capable of making those picks, I'll let them do that. I'm just trying to make sure my team's together. That's the correct goddamn response. For you to come out of your face and point out other teams that might be better suited, that's just flat out hate, bro. And it's very, very, very succinct. He did that shit on purpose because I don't think he thinks that he can beat Ohio State this year.
Really shouldn't have beat us last year, man. There was some fluky calls and fluky plays that happened.
But I don't think he thinks that they can beat Ohio State.
Right.
This ain't the same. Listen, this team this year, the Clemson team this year, ain't the Clemson team for the last 3 or 4 years or 5 years, rather. They have not been close this year.
As a matter of fact, we can say you don't belong because you got one loss. You play in the weakest conference, and you already got a loss.
And that's the other part of it. And to go a little bit further, even if they can beat us, let's say they play us in the first round, you know who they can't beat? Alabama gonna beat the brakes off of you. And he knows that. But he's trying to make sure his team at least gets to the championship. I think he's afraid of playing us again in the first round. And I think he knows it. He's not sure if his team can beat us. And that's where I line up. But the correct answer to his dumbass statement should have been, I'll let the committee worry about who gets in and who doesn't. My team's ready to face anybody. We're just trying to make sure that we're there. Game, set, match. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. That's the
I agree. All right, so we'll see how this plays out. We should know who our first round matchup is come Saturday afternoon. So next up, we just got to go over our picks from last week and our picks from this week. So I'm at 22 and 21, and I think you're a little bit ahead of me. I think you're 23 and what?
I'm 22 and 2021.
Well, I'm 22.
I'm sorry. I'm 22 and 20.
All right. We should be 23 and 20.
Well, whatever the hell, you know.
Well, something like that. I just know you're ahead of me by a game or two. All right.
I should be ahead of you by way more than that.
No, you're
because
not.
I'm way better than you.
No, that's not true at all. So, first game was the Rams and the Patriots. I picked the Rams, and the Rams won. I think you picked the Rams too.
We both picked the Rams on that.
All right, Vikings and Tampa Bay. I picked Tampa. Tampa won.
Yeah, I picked the Vikes.
KC and Miami. I think we both picked KC.
Yep.
Dallas and Cincy. I think you had the gall to pick Cincinnati, right?
I did.
Yeah, but I picked Dallas.
You picked Dallas, and Dallas won.
And the final one was Browns and Ravens. We both picked the Browns. Ravens won. So I finished 4-1. I think you finished 3-2.
Yep.
So that puts me at. So now I'm at 26 and 22. All right. So you can go ahead and just pick the games at random.
You at 26?
At 26, yeah. So we tied then. Not for long, because after this week, I'll pull ahead and take my rightful place on the throne. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead. So I don't have access to the this week's game.
Actually,
just pick 4.
If we had gotten to it early enough, I would have pick the game tonight, but that's all good. Because the game tonight is actually a good one. And
Yeah, it is.
I kind of figured it was going to be a good one too. So let's look into this week coming up in NFL. What is this, week 15? Gee whiz, week 15. So why don't we start with Chicago?
Always we pick a Chicago game like damn near every week. We didn't do them last week. All right, Chicago and who?
Versus Minnesota. They're both 6 and 7.
Where's the game at?
It's in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I think I'm gonna go Minnesota as well. Although the Bears looked good last week, I have to be honest.
Yeah, it's still the damn Bears. Touchdown.
It
Oh,
is
he
still
dropped it.
It is still the Bears. So next game, this one ought to be a good one. We got the Seattle Seahawks going to the Washington football team. Seattle's 9 and 4, Seattle 6 and 7. Seem like they're going in two different directions right now, though.
I'm going Seattle.
I'm gonna go football team.
Yeah, Seattle's been struggling a little bit. I think it's time for them to snap out of it. So I'm gonna go Seattle.
And it seems like we got a Saints game every week too.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the
guess
Saints
what?
playing KC, right?
They got KC this week.
I'm going KC.
12 and 1. Now, before you make that, you might want to. They said that Drew Brees might be practicing by tomorrow.
I bet you pick KC even more. This dude had literally fractured his whole rib cage.
Yeah, man, he had about 4 or 5 fractures, a punctured lung. I said, damn.
Yeah, exactly. You try to come back already, and then too, the Saints for whatever reason, they don't like running the football anymore.
Also,
They
just want to keep throwing. They just
Yeah,
want to keep
or run or use Taysom Hill as their main running back. Like I would
That's what I
Kamara.
mean. Like they just want to run the ball.
Yeah, Kamara barely gets any care. He's turned into like Ernest Biner now. You know what I'm saying? When you get a few carries here and just use as a receiver, coming out of the backfield trying to get mismatches on linebackers and stuff like that. But the Saints they just do not like to run the football. And against KC, you don't want to try to go head up with KC like that. So I'm going, even though the Saints do have the number 1 defense in the NFL, I'm going KC that game.
I'm gonna go KC as well because I don't think it matters who's the quarterback. I just think that KC is the class of the NFL right now, and they're probably gonna figure a way to beat them.
Right.
Especially like you say, if my man comes back, are you healthy enough to come back, or could you have come back last week? Because I say if you could come back this week, you could have came back last week.
Yeah, because and if he does come back, he's gonna be all bundled up. He's gonna have about
and he's gonna want to throw 60 times to try to prove.
Yeah, man. I got KC all day. All right, what's number 4?
Number 4 is the Niners at 5 and 8 going into Jerry World to play the Cowboys, who are 4 and 9. Both of these teams are probably 2 of the worst teams in the league. Or, well, let me rephrase that. two of the more inconsistent teams.
Well, 49ers have just been beat up with.
Yeah, and that leads to the inconsistent. That's why I tried to switch what I said. They're just inconsistent at this point.
San Francisco was better coached.
Oh,
I'm going San Francisco.
You're going Frisco?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going Frisco just on the fact that Dallas don't have no quarterback, man. Like, you just ain't going to win many games if your quarterback can't make regular ass throws and regular ass plays.
Right. I agree.
That's just, I mean, you know, I would like to go. If Dak was playing, I probably would pick the other way, but you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing, bro. So,
all right. Then finally,
the Giants.
I'm going Browns, and I'm looking at it'll be tight early in the first half, and I think we'll pull away at the end. I think the Browns are going to pull away quite a bit in the second half. I'm going 31-17.
Let me turn back, see what I wrote down. I feel like I wrote this down somewhere. So the spread is 4.5 for the Browns, which kind of surprised me because they didn't pick us to win at home last week.
Right.
But they expect us to go on the road against a tougher team and come out with a 5-point win, basically. The over is 45.5. I was thinking 28-17. Browns. That's what I was thinking.
All right. So that's pretty much close to what I have.
Because apparently we got the ability to score the ball. It's just going to come down to us being consistent, you know, and efficient. And
Right.
I think we can do it. We've seen us do it. It's just a matter of doing it.
Exactly. And it's a statement game for us. Like, put up or shut up time, man.
Let's
like,
put up or shut up.
Go ahead and
this is your
dump these guys, and let's move on to the next game.
This is your opportunity.
You're right.
To finish this thing out. As we were speaking, the Chargers scored another touchdown, so it's 23-17 before the point after.
I see that. Yeah. All right. Go Chargers. So we need the Raiders to lose this game. All right, man. Do you have anything else you wanted to touch on? I'm pretty much done. I think we had a complete show, man. We touched on a lot of topics today.
We had a full show, man. Listen, because I said to myself, I said, man, Sunday gonna be another late night. We ain't talking about nothing on Sunday but the Browns.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trying to
be up to 3 o'clock in the morning.
So let's get it all in today.
Right.
So that on Sunday we could just be like, yeah, we won. This what happened, or oh man, we lost again. It's some bullshit. And
good night. Exactly.
So, yeah,
well,
I think we've cleared out a few things. I think we're good on all of our topics. Again, go Cavs, go Bucks, and go Browns as we go into next weekend. Also, I think Sean did kind of the promo last time, so I guess I'll pick it up and run with it this time. Come check us out, man, on Facebook and Instagram. Two Guys and a Mic TWO, Guys and a Mic 216. Come holler at us, like our picks. Also subscribe to our YouTube page, YouTube channel, I'm sorry. Two Guys and a Mic TWO 216. It's fun. We put our whole podcast on there, but we also try to add a few things extra. Unfortunately for you guys, I am not as tech savvy as you would like for me, as some people would like for me to be, but I'm learning. I'm getting better. I'm trying to tell you, I'm getting better. So there'll be a little more, stuff on there here real soon. We're just getting our footing now. So again, subscribe to our YouTube. Come check us out on YouTube as well. And then check us out on every single solitary one of our audio streams, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts, also Google Podcasts, and on Anchor Podcasts. So come check us out, Two Guys and a Mic, TWO, Guys and a Mic 216, on every single solitary one of those platforms. We love you guys. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to engage us, because we got a lot to say, and we will, not just like, but we will also respond back. Come check us out. Keep liking us. Keep coming to see us. We're going to keep putting the content out. Sean, thank you for, again, allowing me to interrupt your entire day with my shenanigans. I appreciate you, homie. I couldn't do this without you. And, that's it for me.
All right. I don't have anything else to contribute, but I do want to thank you, man. I appreciate the compliments and everything. This is our thing, but Ron was the brains of the operation. He's the one that, came up with the idea to try to do a podcast, and he put everything together, man. So like I said, you keep saying you're interrupting my day. It's no interruption. We both have a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? So we do, try to squeeze these, 2 podcasts in a week, both busy, but yet it's still fun. This is what we like to do, because we talk about sports all the time anyway. So why not share it with you guys on this platform? So I'm about to watch the 4th quarter of this game and then turn it in. I got to get up early in the morning. All right. I love you, bro. Have a good rest of the week. And I will see you Sunday night, hopefully with the victory. Because if we lose this game Sunday, I'm not going to be a happy man at all. I'm just not. I don't want to think that way. I don't want to think negative. I'm trying to stay positive. So I'm going to go ahead.
If we lose on Sunday,
what's that?
This may be the first game that you guys see me and Sean do from the same place, because I may have to go to his house to force him to do the show.
Hey, you're right about that. You're absolutely right. Well, let's go ahead and sign off. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week too. And we'll see you guys Sunday night.
Peace out, people.
Peace out.